Hello and welcome back to another video. We are back on the Aftermath, the weekly show, the weekly longer, extended, analysed match reaction sort of video where unfortunately we have to analyse another loss at West Ham United, where it was Brentford 3 and West Ham United 2. A 5-goal thriller, probably good for the neutral that was able to watch a 3 o'clock kickoff rather than being a West Ham fan. 5 losses in a row against Brentford in the Premier League. But before we get into that, leave a like on the video. And I know you guys are sick of me saying this, but we are so close to 200 subscribers. So if you're sick of me saying that, get me to 200 subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please do it. And if you've already done it, just share it to someone else. We are so close before the end of the year. That's all I ask. We got 100 last year, 200 this year. Come on. But yeah, let's get into the video. Obviously, I'll try to watch the bit of the game of the day match, but I legit was just too angry to watch it. And I watched it a bit where we scored the 2 goals. We played in a 4-4-2 formation, and we actually pressed a bit. The problem is when we press, we're not, because we're probably not coached to attack, we're coached to get the ball back, or coached to do anything with the ball. I'm gonna assume anyway. We actually just leave so many gaps when we are pressing. It's not organised. It's not like how Newcastle press. Not like how Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool press. It's not like how Villa even sometimes press. Even when Everton pressed us a little bit, like the triggers were mad. Like it was just gap after gap after gap, and unfortunately, like the 4-4-2 thing is a bit 50-50 nowadays, where it's probably the hardest formation nowadays to break down because it ends up being like you have to break out 4 in midfield. You have got to try and mix it up and stuff like that. But if you don't do it correctly, they could just pop it around. And Brentford were playing 4-3-3, and they were playing a midfielder left back that could cut in whenever he wanted to. And I'm getting bored of it. I'm getting bored of watching it. I was never one of these people that was like, West Ham, I'm just a West Ham way guy. Only get me managers that play the West Ham way from like the 80s and stuff. I haven't really seen good football ever at West Ham, apart from 14-15 season under Sam Allardyce's last season, where we had Valencia and Saka. We played a diamond formation, and we was good for the first 6 months. But because Sam Allardyce knew he was going, the team morale went down, and we ended up, as much as I like Andy Carroll, when you play Andy Carroll, you got to cross the ball in all the time. So we ended up going back to long balling it anyway. When we actually got the ball on the floor on that season, and Alex Song was controlling the midfield. Checo Kouyaté was there. Mark Noble playing well. Stuart Downing, Morgan Amalfitano. These players were playing well. Aaron Cresswell had the season of his life. And even Carl Jenkinson was that was a great season from him. That's the only time I've ever really seen good football. Like you saw it glimpses of it in the last season of at the Bowling because of Paya and Lanzini. And ever since then, I'm not seeing good football. We started off this season playing some good stuff, and the football did improve a bit. But ever since the last international break, it's just gone downhill. And we're coming up to the next international break from our last game against Nottingham Forest, but we've also got Olympiacos again. And I'm not confident even going into that game. And you know it's bad when I'm not confident going into a European match because we seem to move different, but players like Fornals and Benrahma and Danny Ings cannot play that match. I've said this about Danny Ings before, like, I don't blame him because we signed him and I don't think we needed to sign him. But he's always played in a 2 up front. We don't play 2 up front. We actually played 2 up front against Brentford and we still played Antonio Bowen as the front 2. And Moyes clearly likes Kudus more on the right, even though he said multiple times that he can play in multiple positions, which he can. But he clearly prefers him on the right. That's why he's put Bowen a bit more central. I reckon just put Bowen up front. I saw the miss of Antonio. As much as I love Antonio, he's done great things for this club. 2 things could be right. Your time could be up, but you've also done great things for the club. It's both. And listen, all-time top goal scorer, he has to be in a legendary status for me. But time's up. We need more fluidity. Like we need that. Like Antonio used to be able to like hold the ball up and spin a defender, and even when he wasn't the quickest, he still had more pace than most of these centre backs. When he was his quickest, it was mad. It was dangerous because you don't really want to come up against him because if you try tackling him, his leg just goes into you and you get sent out the stadium. And the Antonio problem is just he probably doesn't want to be an impact sub. Nobody really does want to be an impact sub. Everyone wants to play, but you got to know your role, especially when you're coming to the back end of your career. I don't really understand the team selection ever under David Moyes. I've never really understood most of his team selections. I think against Everton, it was the team we wanted, and we still lost because we, again, as I said, we don't coach on the ball. Um, I mean, we all know the Ward-Prowse Souček midfield does not work. They can't play together. Both players want to do similar things, but are also different players. Ward-Prowse can put a delivery and he can drive with the ball. He can just have. He's got that extra bit of legs in him. Thomas Souček wants to get in the box. He wants to win every aerial duel as much as he can, and he also wants to put tackles in. He was partly up for the first goal because he was in a dead position. And just the fact that we've only had one clean sheet all season. I know we've had tough games, but it's one clean sheet all season. I'll give context for the Brighton one, and the Arsenal one recently where they scored right at the end. Fair enough, but even against Luton, bad defending from again. Against Bournemouth, it was just a terrible game, especially in the second half. In the first half, we played quite well. Lack of clean sheets, and the only team you didn't concede to was Sheffield United, who've only just picked up their win due to a controversial penalty. Probably not going to win more than 5 games all season, and that's not good. And this is for a guy who wants to be a defensive coach, usually a very handbrake on kind of guy. And we're still conceding goals. So how are you soaking up pressure and still conceding goals? Now, obviously, without Zuma, there's a bit of lack of leadership in defence anyway. But even with Zuma, we've conceded goals. Zuma's probably our best centre-back. Well, he is. It's not close. But at the same time, if you're gonna concede goals and you know your team is going to be capable of conceding goals, and even though you want your teams to be hard to beat, you might as well just take the handbrake off and get the best out of your attacking players. The Kudus, the Bowens, I guess the Ben Ramas. Who knows? Ben Rama puts in a good delivery like he did against Brentford. He always seems to be up for it against his former club. And you'll see performances like that from Ben Rama, but then you'll see performances like Everton and Olympiacos as well. He's too inconsistent. I don't know what Maxwell Cornet has done. I tweeted this. I don't know what he's done to deserve any of this. Because he got played once, he got injured, and the injury kept getting delayed. He finally came back and he never got played again. He started against Lincoln and that's it. He didn't even play against Arsenal. He put him on against Olympiacos when we were chasing the game, which I didn't understand because he doesn't even like him, clearly. And he's a bit of pace that we need. Kudus and Bowen are... How many times are we going to say that? These are the two players that are the shining lights of the starting 11, are the shining lights of the team. Are the only two people that are getting, not even just involved with goals and assists, but getting play really, like, getting the best chances, creating the best chances. Even Paquetá hasn't been good recently. He was probably one of the few that creates some good chances, and I have no clue what has happened. But this is not an excuse. There should be no excuses. We should be where Villa, Newcastle and Brighton are. I know Villa lost against Forest. We've got Forest next. Even if we win against Forest, I'm not going to be confident about the rest of the season. It's not going to change my mind unless you absolutely play them and puff the park and batter them. we still have an international break after that. We still go into a break where everyone's going to travel again and come back, and everyone has the same problem. But we know what we're like. We barely have any chemistry on the pitch and fluidity as it is. So it seems to affect us more because we don't really know what the fuck we're going to do on the pitch. We don't really know what West Ham's going to turn up. We don't know what style of West Ham's going to turn up. And that's more than worrying. It's more than worrying. It's just confusing, to be honest with you. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know what the plan is. And I think I will always repeat this. At West Ham United, we've now got, I keep calling him sporting director, but Tim Steidten is the technical director. Mark Noble's the sporting director. Just two directors for football, pretty much, but one handles more of the transfers and stuff like that, the actual recruitment. One actually handles the youth development and stuff like that, and tries to connect between the first team and the youth team, which doesn't seem to be going well right now, but that's been a problem before Mark Noble. Tim Steidten, if he has any power at this club, by the end of the season, you'll see him get a manager that suits towards his sort of football. After him saying to our signings that he wants to play good football, after a technical director or whoever's the leader in the recruitment team, like what Edwards was at Liverpool, what Winstanley is at Chelsea, and what Tixie is at Manchester City, he will get his own manager, and it's not going to be Xabi Alonso just because he had it at Bayer Leverkusen, but he will get his own manager. If he doesn't, big problems at this club, and I can't see it going any better from here, to be honest. That's just my opinion, though. Like, I don't know what you guys think. I don't know whether there's any positives to take, because I can't see them. Just my opinion. But I have no idea what the strategy is. And I've said it in the transfer window. The 4 players we signed are like, well, we signed them all in August. We didn't sign anyone in July. Didn't sign anyone in June. Didn't give anyone a pre-season. Alvarez didn't get a pre-season. He was in a competition with Mexico. And then didn't really have much football. And then I don't know whether Mavropanos had much pre-season. I'm assuming he did. Ward-Prowse played in pretty much. He had a pre-season at Southampton, played on the first game of the Championship of the season. And Mohamed Kudus played literally the day before he joined West Ham. So they got pre-seasons at other clubs. They didn't get pre-seasons with us. Every time I watch us in pre-season, we'll include a bit of youngsters here. You'll see some good stuff. You'll see us get battered. You'll see a mishmash of formations because depending on the level or standard of players they have or the balance of players that they have, there's no consistency going into the season. It was actually probably one of the worst pre-seasons I've watched. And I've watched a lot of bad games in general as a West Ham fan. That it just looked like a very bad pre-season. Even with like the balance of the midfield and stuff, we need to just take this off the fact that I don't care if Souček has got a 4-year deal and I don't care if Sufa wants to stay. I don't care if Antonio wants to stay. We need to just go through a strategy where we need to get players that are actually technically sound, not even like just technically outstandingly gifted or anything like that. And I'm not saying we have to play high-risk, high-reward football, but I'm saying we need to actually have a football that everyone can gel with. And it can work. The reason why it didn't work last season, we don't have the coaches for that. Moyes brought in Mark Warburton for better football, to look at more the attacking side, and they both had disagreements on how they should play because of what Moyes is like. So it was a mishmash of styles anyway. So how was that ever going to work? Please, someone tell me. And it is the coach, it is the manager. And would I take someone like a Company? Yes. Would I take someone like a Potter? Yes. I would give them a chance. I think Company's got like bad players. We know what football Company wants to do, but if you watch their centre backs, have you watched this Jordan Bayard guy that he has? He's shit. The guy gives the ball away every time I watch him. Some of the goals they're conceding is stupid. And listen, Gerd was meant to be the ball playing centre back. So was Mavropanos. So was Paquetá. So was fucking Kera. So was like Alvarez and Kudus. These are players that can play on the ball. Ward-Prowse can play. He can pass it between the lines. He's a number 8. He's decent. Just find the balance. I feel like I don't feel like we should be watching this. And we all know his job's safe. He won't get sacked mid-season because Sullivan, you know what he's like. But by the end of the season, just let him go on a free. Should have had the send-off after lifting the trophy. That parade should have been the last time we saw him. Very happy, celebrating with his dad. It was very good. It was very nice to see. Then it should have ended there. No new contract, no new transfer budget. Get Tim Steidten in, get him his own manager, and let's kick on. Because that could have been a great end to an era. But I think regardless, I'm going to appreciate him as a legend anyway, David Moyes. But I just don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch this. I don't think anyone does. I don't know why you'd want to watch this. And the fact that people are saying you can't blame a manager because of the mistakes players have played on the pitch. Well, the manager picks the players, the manager does the tactics, the manager sets out the team, the manager does the formation. So everyone here is to blame. That's why I always blame players and managers rather than just either one of the two. But listen, that is it for the Brentford West Ham aftermath. If you guys did like the video, make sure to like and subscribe, as I said at the start of the video, on the road to 200 subscribers. My Instagram and Twitter is GVOMikes. Okay. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later because of the Tottenham-Chelsea game. I've got a match reaction to that coming. Goodbye.